So I would be driving around in the car with my dad, and he'd always listen to jazz in the car. And at a certain time of the day, they'd play In the Mood by Glenn Miller, and it had this amazing saxophone solo. And I remember being in 4th grade, we had music in our elementary school and just getting ready to choose an instrument. And I remember hearing that saxophone solo, and I told my dad, I need to play that instrument. I want to learn that solo. He rented me a saxophone. I was able to play in the band, and then he got me lessons with a jazz teacher here in San Diego, and the rest is history. I really feel that music communicates to all walks of life. We say it's the universal language, and some people are able to communicate well through words and express themselves. I feel that for me personally, music has always been my outlet. It allows me to connect with all types of people and create pretty incredible moments. Moments that I remembered for my entire career. I think it's a really profound way to express your feelings, your thoughts, your creativity to as many people as possible. So the Preservationists are my top jazz students at Mission Bay High School, where I'm the music director. We have a tradition of performing early New Orleans jazz here at the school for the past 40 years. And when I started teaching here in 2006, I wanted to revamp our program, and I started getting really inspired by the music of New Orleans and current musicians, including the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, who really helped resurrect traditional jazz in New Orleans in the late 60s and 70s. So it's kind of like an homage to Preservation Hall. We named our top jazz band the Preservationists. I think we have to pass things down or it gets lost. I mean, that's the simplest thing. If we don't pass the knowledge that we have, how is the next generation supposed to learn? And how are they supposed to be encouraged to learn if no one's showing them how amazing this can be? Because music definitely speaks for itself, but I think having a community that supports and shows their love for music is really important and inspires our next generation. Jazz has been around in our country since the early 1900s. It was the pop music of its time. You had students in college listening to John Coltrane and Thelonious Monk in the 50s and 60s. And jazz has always been a part of the culture. It's America's true art form. But I think what's really neat now is you see teachers and more musicians supporting, especially jazz musicians, seeing that we need to keep this music alive and we need to teach it. I feel like there is jazz that gets lost, and specifically for jazz listeners, but there's also a lot of jazz that is open to all listeners. And I think that's kind of what we need to focus on. Golden Island Performance was a really special performance for me because we brought together an alumni group. It's really nice to bring all these students together, and it was a select group. I'm an alumni of Mission Bay, so I kind of got to lead the band. But it was really special to see students from all different graduating years come together and all perform music that kind of warmed the heart. Anyone in any venue that's trying to support live music, thank you. And it automatically brings a community together because you have the musicians and then you have the patrons there that are there to listen to music, but then you also have the people just eating dinner and might have no idea that this was going on. You're automatically extending your reach by having venues like this support live music and supporting the arts community. Every event that you have, including the Golden Island, you meet new people who are like, wow, this is really cool. I didn't know this was happening. And so as a musician, you get to kind of educate them like, yeah, this is happening, but this is also happening, and this is also happening. I think as a musician, we're always trying to, well, and a teacher too, we're trying to reach more people. These relationships help us continue what we're doing and promote something that is really near and dear to our hearts. And that's keeping music alive, and specifically for us, keeping jazz alive.